Hey guys, welcome to Absolute Training Nutrition Podcast. So today my guest is Matt Smith, who has actually spoke at an event of mine a few years ago, and people still talk about his talk that he gave at my event. So do you know what, man? I'm just going to hand it over to you. Just give yourself give an introduction, and then we'll kind of get into it.
Okay, cool. So first of all, thank you very much, mate, for reaching out and asking me to be a guest on your podcast. Whenever anybody does that, I still get a bit taken aback because I used to have this thing about I'm not worthy of being seen, not worthy of being heard. And I get like a little bit emotional when, and I don't say this too much. So it's the first time I'm probably admitting this like on a podcast. So it means a lot that someone like you, who I respect massively, because you have high standards, man, and that's that's a compliment, right? So it means a lot when you reach out and say, Matt, I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah.
So I just want to say I really do appreciate that. So thank you very much.
No, thank you.
What do you want to know?
Do you know what, mate? When we went back to that talk, and I think people were expecting you. So just to give a bit of context to the people listening, I run an event called Building a Business Substance, which is for fitness people who want to build their businesses. And I like getting guest speakers. One, it's not me speaking for 8 hours and boring people to death, but everybody has a different way of things. And there was a talk that you gave about coming from a very dark place and very, difficult places, and how you got your way, how you found your way through it, and how you maintain that. Because I think when it comes, and I don't want to get really into a big thing about mental health because I'm not an expert on it, but I think what we tend to do is we tend to talk about how to get out of like a mental block or a mental health state or whatever it is, we get out of it. But people don't really talk about how you stay out of it. You know what I mean? It's always like, how do you get out? But then, so how have you, I mean, you could give more context. You could talk about, dude, I've got no problem you talking about how you help people, how you coach people yourself right now and stuff. Like, you can get into that. But how do you personally, man, stay out of that, not slipping back into dark spaces?
Okay. Where would I start with that? So first of all, I would say, for me personally, it's not about staying out of dark places. Okay. I have ways of bouncing back if I do ever find myself in a dark place. And I think that's the most important thing, not trying to stay out of a dark place and stay all like high vibe, happy. I'm not saying you said that you got to be high vibe and happy clappy all the time, but I'm 90% in a good state. 90% of the time, I'm in a good state. I'm high vibe, whatever you want to call it, in a good mood, productive, whatever you want to call it. I'm good 90% of the time. But I still have those 10% of the time where I'm in some kind of funk, or I've been triggered by something, and usually for me now, it's more about when I'm upgrading into the next level, something will show up. So an old story of, like I said at the start, not being worthy, not being deserving, it not being safe for me. But I have processes in place that we can talk about that help me move through those. So if for anybody that hasn't seen it or heard about the story that Wayne's referring to, I was doing great in business. It's like two parts. My story is two parts. So first 5 years in business was going great, high flying, like doing amazing. Then I had like the crash of all crashes, like right down depression, suicide, like the worst of the worst, lowest of the low, lost family, lost money, lost health, all of it went, and then came back out of it. And again, it's just keep going up and up and up, every now down, and then up and up and up now. Okay, so that's a brief introduction to that story. Yeah. The cause of the crash was essentially I stopped focusing on me. I stopped taking time for me, and I stopped listening to intuition. I stopped doing my work and making time and space for me to check in with me. And it was all about get from the outside world. Try and prove more success, more money, more fame. It was more. I need more because I'm not good at it. It was from that place.
Yeah.
That's what essentially caused the crash. I got it all, yet I was still unhappy underneath it. So that's what caused the crash. And then back up was focus on me. I was like, right, let's put me first for a change. Because if I am here to serve, whether it's one person or 10 million people, if I'm here to serve and to give my gifts to the world in whatever form that might take, I've got to be on point. I can't do everyone else first and then take time for me at the end of the day once I'm burnt out and given to everybody else. But I have to set my life up so that I'm good, and then I can pour from that full cup. But like I said, I still have those times where, I don't know, I might wake up on one morning and I'm just in a funk of all funks. I'm like, what is even this? And I'll try fighting it and resisting it. But I put a post out about this the other day, is the fastest way out of those feelings is to allow yourself to feel them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. Have you ever read that book?
I'll be honest, mate, I started to listen to the audiobook, but I've got so many audiobooks, they're on kind of rotation. My attention span is like, squirrel, you know what I mean? That kind of thing, So. But yeah.
You both.
Yeah.
Mate, I think that's the type of just the people that we are. That's what we do. Like all the things going on, spinning the plates and whatever. But one of the things he taught me in that book is to detach from the feeling, observe the feeling. So whenever the dark is coming up, for want of a better phrase, is to detach from it and go, right, I'm not that feeling. I'm just going to sit and watch it. I'm not going to try and get away from it. I'm not going to try and outwork it. I'm not going to try and out-eat it, or porn or drugs or alcohol. I'm not going to suppress it in any way and try and get away from it, or get on a dating site and swipe, or whatever the outlet might be for people. I'm going to sit with it and prove that I'm not less than that feeling, and I'm not a slave to it, and it doesn't own me or run me. So however dark and heavy it might be, I'm just going to be a space for it.
Yeah.
Knowing that it's just going to come up and burn out, and then boom, I'm back on track, and then I'm back creating or whatever.
It's a very unique skill to have, though, isn't it? Don't you think? It's like like I did that live in that other group the other day, mate, that you commented on, and like for me, I've always found that it's very similar to yourself. I have to hear myself say it. So then there's like almost like a degree of acceptance. It's happening. This is a thing. But like, I said to my wife, sometimes I just feel like, why am I just, my gym's been constantly closed, open, closed, and it's, you just think, oh, why bother? And my wife said, do you know what? I've never heard you speak anything negative, and, in that way, you've always been quite positive. I said, you know what, though? I just have to say it. Once I hear it out loud, I process it, because I think when you bury it, it eats at you, doesn't it? But I'm very much like that. Like, if we were out, Matt, and you pissed me off, I'd say, dude, shut up, man, you pissed me off. But then I'm over it. I've said it. It won't go any further. It'd be like, we just move on like we would have done any other time. I can't allow things to just eat in me. I find that if I just say it, I've almost like I've accepted it. Okay, that is a thing. This is how you're feeling. Now process it.
Yeah, there's so much power in that. It's that having it then outside of you and it not becoming you.
Yeah.
Whether it's depression, whether it's anxiety, whether it's anger, frustration, envy, jealousy. It's one of the 12-step processes, I think, is giving a name to it. There's one of the strategies they do is give a name to whatever feeling it is.
Yeah.
Is it Steve Peters talks about it in the Chimp Paradox?
Yeah, my wife's read that book. She told me I should read that book.
It's a good book. They do one for kids. I was talking with a girl the other day, and she was showing me that she got the one for kids. It's phenomenal. Like, really, really good. But yeah, it's taking all the power out of it. So it's not you. It doesn't consume you. Like you said, if I said something to piss you off and you didn't say anything, then it's your problem. You're carrying the hot coal then, and it's burning the fuck out of you. I'm fine. I've said it. I'm being a dick or whatever. I'm good. But if it's eating away at you, that's not fair on you or me or whoever else that then might get in that energy.
So inadvertently, I've always been like that, because again, my wife will say to me, you really don't care about what you say, like, you don't worry about, you're not too worried about people's feelings so much. I said, I can't be, because if I'm concerned about their feelings, I'm not dealing with mine. So if I say to somebody, look, man, you're a dickhead, right? If they choose not to talk to me ever again, or never connect with me, or fucking unfriend me, or whatever, then it's now their problem. I've released it as far as I'm concerned. I've said how I'm feeling, And I'm happy now to just move forward, you know. But if they're not happy, then like you just said, man, they can carry on carrying the hot coal with them if they want and just have all that hate in their life for the rest of their life. Or they can just kind of go, oh, yeah, you're right, I've been a bit of a dick. And then we just move on. But that's the ideal, beautiful world, isn't it? If we all behave like that, it'd be no fucking wars, mate. It'd be great.
Yeah, that's it. And what's interesting is the war usually is the one that's going on inside ourselves.
Yeah.
That's usually the war that's going on. So it's taking that analogy of calling me out if I'm being a dick or whatever.
Yeah.
Do it to yourself. Like, call yourself out.
Yeah.
Hey, come on. Even if you're in a funk or you're talking negatively about yourself, or I can never get my diet right, or whatever it might be for someone, like, call that out and go, hang on a minute, is that true? That's one of my most powerful questions that I ask either with myself or my clients when they're going down some kind of negative or disempowering path or story, because everything's stories. I'll jump in and go, is that true? And they go, oh, I can't get my diet right, or I can't get the motivation to do this, or I can't seem to get my kids to do what I want them to do, or whatever I'm working with a client with. I'm like, right, is that ultimately true? Or is it just a story you're telling yourself that's keeping you stuck for whatever reason? Because once we've got the truth there, then we can deal with it. If I let you say that story and don't question it, we've got nowhere to go. I'm like, well, is that actually true that you can't lose weight or can't get the girl or whatever it might be? Is that actually true? Or are you just saying that based on past experience? You know?
Yeah, I think again, I the word can't, you know, I've always said the word for me, the word can't means you don't want to. You know, I mean, you don't want the change. You don't want to do that thing. You know, you're not ready to do it, and that's okay as well. You know, the worst thing is, and again, you know, we could both me and you, like, so, you know, work on social media. We understand that how we use social media to get our word out there, right? But there's also so many people putting themselves and comparing themselves to the success of others. So they see the guy who's just, you know, bought himself and his house outright, or they bought the car, or they're going on the nice holidays, or, you know, look great in a bikini, or the guy's got the six pack. You know what I mean? We're spending our time comparing ourselves to what other people have got. And then we kind of go, well, I can't do that. I couldn't do what that person's done. I can't, well, but it's all relative. That person might be single, living on their own, no kids, no commitments. You know, I'm not dealing with illnesses or mental blocks or anything like that. You don't know that person's story. You're just judging somebody on one image, and you're comparing yourself to somebody you don't even know. So I, you know, again, when I'm working with clients, I work on a 1% thing. So, like, literally, what 1% can you do today that's going to move you forward in the future? So it could be, so like, classic example, we always get, like, you know, people going, I'm going to cut my coffee, I'm going to cut caffeine out because I've identified that caffeine is caffeine's what? How is caffeine causing you a problem? Again, like you just said, they're kind of pointing everything on, it must be caffeine. I'm not sleeping because I'm drinking too much coffee. Are you really? Is that, like you just said, is that true? Is it coffee, or is there something else that you're not dealing with, but you're gonna cut coffee out and nothing's gonna change? Why don't you just try maybe cutting down on your coffee and then looking at ways, how are you sleep? How are you getting ready for bed? You know, are you still looking at your phone at 11 o'clock? Are you still watching TV? Are you unwinding properly? Are you dealing with the shit that you need to deal with? You know, like you said, mate, some people are very good at putting obstacles in their own way.
Oh yeah, we love to do that. Our ego, well, my interpretation is it's our ego that loves to do that, because our ego likes to stay in what it knows. Even if it's painful and horrible, if it knows it, it'll latch onto it, because that's essentially safe. It doesn't know change. It doesn't know better. It doesn't know different, right? And so the ego will try and hold on. And if we identify with that, then we'll just perpetuate the same thing. Even if we start the diet, we'll fall off the bank. We'll self-sabotage because it doesn't know being in great shape. I remember early on in my PT career, I had a woman come to me that one of her main goals was to feel really good naked. She wanted to feel really sexy naked because sex life had gone downhill. She was getting changed in the bathroom, like the lights are off and all this stuff. Typical, like I found it was a typical thing among women, but she was the one that really stood out. So we got her on a program, a plan, and like it's the dog's bollocks. It's working really well. But every now and again, she'd majorly self-sabotage. She'd either go away with the girls for a weekend and like really go on a massive bend, like really blow out. Not just have a bit, but like really blow out. And then she'd say, oh, work's got busy, so I can't train this week. Loads of excuses and self-sabotaging. Yeah. That's what started me down the whole human behavior route. Rather than just training and programs and diet and stuff, it's why do people say they want a thing, but they do something different?
Yeah.
Anyway, we dug deeper with her, and she had an instance where she was sexually assaulted when she was younger. Turns out when she was younger, she was beautiful, like gorgeous, like the prom queen, like stunning, great shape and everything. Yeah. But she has this association in her mind that being sexy and in great shape equals pain.
Yeah.
So no matter what she does surface level, and no matter how hard, I used to be the trainer, was like, right, more burpees then, because you didn't hit the scales. I was that arsehole, right? That was like, come on, you got to work harder because you didn't do your thing. I was that guy. So arsehole, if you do that, then that's fine. If that's your way.
We definitely don't do that.
Okay, cool. I would punish them, you know what I mean? But I was like, right, I've got to work out why she's not doing it. And that's what it was. So she had this association that being sexy and attractive equals pain. Now, if she's running that program underneath, doesn't matter what she does on the surface, she's going to self-sabotage. And that's an analogy for anything in life, right? It's the poor trying to get rich, but like all the money. They like rich people are evil. Like it's all the evil villains in the movies that are the billionaires, but they're an evil villain. I don't want to be seen as evil, so I'll push the money away, even if I get it. You know, all the lottery winners that go broke or whatever. It's the same thing. If you associate pain with your desires, doesn't matter how hard you work and hustle and grind, it ain't gonna happen. But it's that associate. I don't know how we got onto associations and stuff, but no, that's essentially. This is
what I wanted from this. It's just more conversation than, you know, because this is more of a conversation thing rather than loads of questions. Because like I stated in the beginning, you know, I found my way from being a coach. I'm probably from being a nurse as well, you know, and dealing with people in very, very poor health. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not qualified in mental health, or you know, but I have a lot of empathy, and I get and understand. All I've done in my own world is kind of find my own way, and I wanted to keep this in conversation because asking questions about a subject that I'm not really the expert in asking the right questions about. I think most of the people listening are going to get more from it than me going, so how do you get yourself out of a funk? And how does it feel to be, you know what I mean? It's better to just keep it loose and conversational, mate. And I knew you'd be the perfect person to speak to about this because of your personal experience with it. And I think people who have experienced it are much better experts at explaining it than people who probably did it in a degree at university.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Personally.
Yeah, there's a time and a place for getting a degree and a qualification. I think if you want to be a brain surgeon,
yeah,
you don't need to have had brain cancer to be qualified to do it. Do you know what I mean? But I think there are some things where definitely experience counts over book smarts or whatever.
It's about relatability, isn't it?
Yeah, and just what showed up for me actually then is about the whole mental health and getting through it or getting out of a funk. One thing that really showed up for me just then when you said that was taking back your power and not having the funk be the power and the feeling be the power and going, right, I feel this, I'm going to sit with it. That's what I had to do. I had to go, right, let's sit with this feeling of depression, of apathy, of the anxiety. Let's sit with it and look at where's it come from? Like, why is it, why did I feel so, want of a better phrase, shit, that I wanted to end my life? Like, what was that? I had to sit with that because I don't want to do that. I don't want to end my life. And even though I felt like I wanted to then, the truth is I didn't want to. I wanted shit to get better, right? Viktor Frankl spoke about that in his book, Man's Search for Meaning.
Yeah.
He was like, I don't know if you know the story of him or what he was.
Yeah.
The bit that I got from that book, he was a prisoner of war in Auschwitz, I think it was.
Yeah. And
what he noticed was there were so many people living in the worst possible conditions known to man, right? You're fed that much bread a day. You're a slave. You're being whipped, shouted at. You're sleeping on a wooden bunk bed with 9 other men completely naked in the winter, like the worst condition. But he noticed that the suicide rate was really low. Like very few people took their life. And what he theorized was it's that we have this thing inside us called hope. We live on that hope that it's going to get better, hope that it's going to get better. And so I didn't want to kill myself. I just felt like that was the best way for me to go forwards because I was in so much pain. But once I sat with it and gone, right, why is that pain there? Then I could do something about it. I can go, right, the pain is there because I'm telling myself a story. I'm not good enough and people will be better off without me. That was my thing, that people will be better off without me. I'm a fucking liability. Can't get anything right. People are better off without me. Well, is that essentially true? It might have been with some of the actions I took, but it's not ultimately true. I was still serving quite a lot of people who are benefiting from me in my fitness business. Yeah. I had a kid and another one on the way. Pretty sure they'd rather dad be around, no matter how much of an arsehole he is, than if he wasn't around full stop, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, right, let's tell a better story. Let's sit with that feeling, look at why it's there, and then just change the story. But, well, no, actually people do want me to be around, and people would rather, the right people would rather me be around. I'm going to focus on those people. I'm not going to compare myself to the, like you said, the dude on Instagram who's posting a Ferrari and telling myself a story. I'm not a good dad because I haven't got the Ferrari or the Beverly Hills mansion or the 15-pack abs or whatever it is, right? I'm going to just let go of all that and just do me and feel that feeling that will eventually get me out of the funk. Not try and get out of the funk, but just go, right, why am I here in the first place? Like you might do in a consultation for a new fitness client, right? Well, let's look at why are you here in the first place? You want to lose weight? Yeah, let's get you on a...
First question I ask when somebody comes in, why are you here? And they look at me and go, well, it's obvious, isn't it? I'm like, it's not obvious to me. It's obvious to you, but I've never met you before. I can't judge you and think, oh yeah, you look like you've got some weight to lose. That's me judging you. I want to know, why are you here? So yeah, it's a great question to ask yourself, definitely.
That's just what showed up then when you were saying about how to get out of the funk and whatever. If someone is watching this or listening to this that wants that answer, is to take back your power and sit with that feeling. It's however dark and heavy and horrible it is.
Absolutely. Do you know what, mate? I think it's a really strong way to be. Like you just saying that just triggered me because I've always been I'm quite a selfish person. It's been pointed out to me, and I'm absolutely fine with it. But I've always kind of put myself first, and if I set myself something, I'm going to do it. Do you know what I mean? I might not do. I've always said, and my kids know it. Like, you know, if I say I'm going to do something, they don't. I remember I say to my wife, "Oh, do you know what? I'd really like to go and live in New York for, you know, even if it's like 3 or 4 months, you know, just to try it, just to live that life, just do it." And she just went, "Oh," I went, "What?" She went, "Oh, we're going to do it, aren't we? We're going to have to go. We're going to have to have look." And I went, and because she just knows that it might not be now, I might do it when I'm 70, but I will do it. And she knows that that's the kind of mindset I have because you've hit the nail on it right at the beginning when you said you've got to do you first. Because I can't be a great husband for my wife or good to my kids or good to my clients or good to myself unless I focus on me. And so I found the more I've been like that, the more selfish I've been, better things have happened. Does that make sense? So that, like talking about the Ferrari, I'm not saying I've got a Ferrari part outside, but I do have quite a nice car. But the point of the matter is I've achieved them things because I've put myself first. So they've almost by default, these better things have happened. Does that make sense? Rather than dwelling on what I could have, what I could do, I've kind of just being, well, if you want them things, there's certain things within yourself that you have to accept. There's certain things you can and that are beyond you. So you may need others to help you get there. And I almost used the can't word then, but there's always, you know, there's always a way forward. It just might mean that you need help from others. You might need to discuss with others. You might need to bring other people in. But ultimately, it's got to be about you. Every day, it's got to be about you.
Uh-huh.
What's your morning routine, Matt?
I wake up. I like to, when I'm waking up, I'm in my last dream. I have lots of vivid dreams. And in my last dream upon waking, I do this thing where I just explore that dream. I'm one of those woo-woo guys that believes that there's messages in dreams and we're being spoken to by higher realms and stuff. So I kind of do a little bit of that to start the day, just to see what's there, if there's any messages there.
Yeah.
Then I've got a list of affirmations that align with vision for my life, and I'll read through those, and I will. Have I got one, two,
Have
about
you
8
written
of
them?
them?
Have you written them? The affirmation.
Yeah, they're mine. So affirmations that align with the visions that I have for my life and what I want. So I'll read each one, and as I'm reading it, I'll close my eyes and spend 5 minutes visualizing that. So one of them is about where I live. Another one is about the type of holiday that I have. Another one is about my health. Another one is about my relationship. And I'll sit and I'll just visualize that and imagine myself living in that. So I've already generated the feeling of having it before I've even started my day. That's the first thing I'll do. Then I'll get up and I'll make myself a shake. The first thing I'll do is I'll make myself, it's protein with some spinach, chia seeds, wheatgrass I think I put in it, some other stuff as well. I'll have that shake, and I'll just sit. I'll either read or I'll journal and just sit with me for the morning. And then I'll feel into my body, see which way it wants to move today. I'm like, right, what do you want to do today? Are we yoga-ing? Are we doing some HIIT training? Are we going for a hike? Are we not going to the gym because we can't at the moment? Not swimming because we can't at the moment because the gym's being shut? So I'll feel in what my body, and that's it. Whether I've got like clients first thing, whether I've got my kids that morning, or whether it's just me, it's very much the same almost. It's very much me. I'll feel into, okay, what's going on? What's the feelings? What's going on? Before I go out into the world and try and do anything.
It's really it's really funny. I can already hear people like listening to this. They're going, well, I ain't got time for that in the morning. I've got this soon. I've got to get there and I've got to do this. And I've got, and again, these are things that I've had before from people. And like, you can, it just means you may have to get up earlier. It means you may have to get to bed earlier. It means you may have to switch that, that episode of Netflix off a bit sooner and get your sleep and then get up and do it. I'm a massive fan of auditing yourself. So you audit your day. So if there's something you want to achieve, and I've never hidden the fact there's a business guy I follow. You'll know who he is, Gary V. And I've followed him since probably about 2000 and 2012. And he's a massive fan of like you audit yourself. So you'll have people who are working a full-time job and who want to, develop a business, but they're going, we don't have time. And he has a massive thing about saying, well, what are you doing between 7 p.m. and 2 a.m.? Because if you want it, there's time. If you're sitting there watching TV for 2 or 3 hours, that's 2 or 3 hours where you could be productive. You don't have to do that every day. But if you did one evening where I'm literally going to be working on me, I'm going to get myself to bed early. I'm going to get everything ready so I get up next morning fresh. I find a morning routine is so much better for me than me. So Monday to Friday, I have a routine. Saturday and Sunday, I kind of give myself the days off to kind of do whatever I want.
Yeah.
But I find that by Monday, I'm so gagging for my morning routine. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's literally 2 days of just going. I almost feel like I'm lost. So my routine is I'll get up and then I'll do my breathing. I do my breathing rounds, and then I do my cold shower, and then I'll go and make a coffee, and then that's kind of, and then it rolls from that. But I really notice it, and I don't know if it's, again, psychological, but I really notice it if I don't do them things. And something about Monday to Friday, I can't miss it. Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I can live with it. But this weekend I'm actually going to do the morning routine. I'm probably not going to do it at 7 a.m., but I'm going to do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but it's very powerful. Without getting too deep on it, and it's probably something that you need to do with a specific individual, or I would need to do. But what I would say, because I know there'll also be somebody that, like you said, that says, "Oh, I haven't got time, can't do this." I would say, yeah, make time. Of course, you can always get. If I said to you, right, you just want a holiday to the Caribbean, but you've got to get up at 3 a.m. You're getting up at 3 a.m. You're getting your kids ready. You're getting, do you know what I mean? You'll drive and pick your nan up if she's still alive to take you. You'll do whatever it takes to get, if obviously you wanted that. So, but what I would also say is for people is to just check in if if you are getting advice, tips, and strategies and tactics to do something that's going to help you, but you still find yourself finding an excuse or not doing it, I would go a bit deeper and go, right, why aren't I doing it? If I took the excuse of time out of the way, or I got kids out, if I took those excuses, is there something deeper there? But do I get like a woman exercise, and if you said you want to look sexy for your husband, why aren't you doing it? Instead of saying, come on, make time, do it, push harder. Like you can do it when you're in your hotel, buy a fucking TRX band and hang it off your door and all the solutions. If she's still not doing it, I'm like, right, why? Is there something there that you're telling about yourself, or the result that you say you want that you think is going to cause you pain, right? Because let's call her Jane. Her name wasn't Jane. But when Jane gets in shape and feels really sexy at 40, doesn't mean she's going to get the sexual assault that she got at 16.
Yeah.
Just because she got it at 16 doesn't mean she's going to get it at 40. Like she's a lot smarter, a lot wiser, a lot more confident in herself, like better, different people around her, different environment. It's not true that it's going to happen again. It might, but it doesn't mean that it's going to just because she's put her stove on the hand once, hand on the stove once and it was hot.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
So that's what I would say with people is yes, use strategies, tactics, get up earlier, set an alarm, a routine, have that in place. But if you still struggle, go a little bit deeper. And what I've got to say this is, if you haven't got support in your life, get some support in your life. Get a coach in your life in some way, shape, or form. Get that coach in your. That was the biggest. I tried to do it, mate. I tried to do it by myself. So I am the coach. Coaches don't need coaches. I'm the shit. I got it all sorted. I'm fine. And then the wave would come crashing over, and it's like, well, I could try and surf by myself, but it's easier to have a surfing coach to teach me how to surf, you know?
Like everything in life, man, you can drive around in your car lost, or you can just ask somebody who knows the direction. Is going to get you there a lot quicker with a lot less pain, a lot less suffering, and you'll probably achieve that a little bit more because you know you've got that accountability as well. You know, so to step up and do what you said you were going to do. I'm a massive fan of saying it out loud. So if you say it out loud, just make sure you do it. So, you know, again, you know, my wife says I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I've no problem telling people what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling. And that's my way of taking ownership of it. I just say it. Whereas my wife is a very private person. She doesn't, you know, she's literally not going to spill her guts. She'll tell me, but I'd have to say to her, "You okay?" She wouldn't just come up to me and go, "Actually, do you know what? Today I'm feeling like this." I'd have to go, "Babe, you all right? You don't seem your normal self." And then she'd go into it. But that's just, and that's how she copes, and that's how she does her thing. She keeps it in, and then it all comes out in like a riot. I can't do that because it would destroy me. But you know, so even though me and Matt are talking about what, you know, our morning routine and what we do and how we do things, it's not going to be for everybody. You've got to find your way, and I think Matt just hit the nail on the head that it doesn't have to be. It could be a coach, but it could also be a friend who feels the same as you. And there's unity in people who are struggling, and you work together as long as you keep each other accountable and you don't allow that person to bring you down anymore. The classic example is when I get people going, I started going to the gym with my friend. Cool, great. But then the friend decides that she doesn't want to go that one night because she can't be bothered. So you don't go. And I think it works really well having a buddy and a buddy system. As long as you both write a physical contract, we will make sure that we do not let the other person down, and we won't let ourselves down. And just physically, again, I think saying it will make it more than just going, "Do you want to go to the gym?" Or should we join Slimming World? Or, you know, and then literally the one person decides that they're going to eat all the ice cream, and you think, well, fuck yeah, I might as well do the same. I think I'm like I said, man, for a long, and probably still now, there's, you know, the fluffy side of mental health, you know, like the clouds are white and the grass is green and all that kind. I can't connect with that. I've struggled with the woohoo, you know. Yeah. You know what I mean? I do really struggle with. I can't connect with people like that. So like Brené Brown, right? If people haven't heard of her, read her books, superb. I relate to her. I like the way she writes. I like the way she describes things, you know, and it is a little bit of the you know, the fluffy woofy in it, but it's more relatable. But there are other people I could mention, and I just can't listen to them. And their content's great, what they're talking about is probably very useful but I can't connect with the fluffy side of things.
Yeah, it's an easy trap to fall into, because I turned into that guy a little bit. I noticed that I was obviously had the funk, went down, pulled myself back out of it, got myself around a certain spiritual community. I'm not going to name names or people or anything. And then I turned into that guy. I was like, oh, everything's fucking marshmallows and rainbows and unicorns and everything's beautiful. And we just got to be high vibe, man, all the time. And I'd have this weird feeling. I'm like, no, that feeling's not there. I'm good. And I'm blah, blah, blah. I even thought of changing my name at one point to something light, something, or other, mate. I did. I went down that thing. No judgment. Hey?
Buzz Lightyear.
Fucking nearly, mate. I've got the tattoo, look, to infinity. I got it. I'm judging it, but I'm not. Again, I had to take a reality check and be like, it's just not me either. Yeah, be high vibe. Yeah, be happy. Yeah, focus on generating a good feeling as often as you can and doing whatever you can to get yourself in a good mood, because that's going to create good actions and that's going to create good results, and it's going to perpetuate like that. It's that upward spiral, right? So do whatever you can, but accept that we also are human as well. And we're going to have those days or moments where we feel terrible, and we're going to feel all the feelings because we're human.
Yeah.
If we were just this perfect beam of light, we'd be in that world or whatever realm or whatever. But we're not. We're in the physical human, and there's a lot of heavy, like at the moment, whenever people are watching this, at the moment, there's a lot of heavy, dark, horrible energy going on. It's everywhere. It's all around the world. And to try and deny that and go, oh no, it's fine, like stay high vibe and we'll transmute it. There's a phrase I think called spiritual bypassing, and I think that's what that describes that as. And I had to come down out of that and go, hang on a minute, I've got to be aware that no, you don't just feel great all the time. Stop lying to yourself. Like some days you do have, I had horrible dark day, and that's where that support and that coach can come in and go, yeah, you do feel like that because you're perceiving this. So sit with it, be bigger than it, transmute it, and then you can go, yes, now I feel great. Now I can go forwards. So yeah, I think it's a world that people have to be aware of if they're dipping their toe in it and starting to go in it, because there's a lot of it at the moment going out. There's a lot of this whole, like you said, spiritual side of things. It's very big at the moment. People are looking for other ways to help them, and I think it's great that people are looking for that. But the answers aren't outside of you. A coach can help you access the answers inside of you, and they can get you to the right place. But any point a coach says it's me and my thing that is the reason why you're good, they're the wrong coach, because the right coach they'll pull it out of you. It's already inside of you. It's already inside of you. Give you back the power.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's really funny. I have a way of working with pretty much all my clients will say the same kind of thing, that I have a way of making them come out of themselves without me having to say, come out of yourself, or sort your shit out, or, you know what I mean? I think the biggest thing that people don't do is they don't listen. And they either listen to themselves or listen, you know what I mean? They don't listen. And I think, so what I do is I will just listen and absorb what the client's saying. And again, I don't want to sound like, like some fucking floating guru on a magic carpet kind of thing, but I've just become over my years, maybe again, my training as a nurse, you have to learn to listen, because you can't relate to what that person's just had a fucking, big major surgery. You can't relate to the shit that led up to that. You're not the one lying in the bed with a fucking, just had your leg taken off because of lifestyles of shit. Do you know what I mean? And so I just have to listen, and I've just found a way, and I kind of listen, and people will always give you cues, and you can give yourself cues as well during the day. There'll be little things that you do that you just go, and then you probably just go on about it. But there's little cues, and it's learning to listen and stop and listen to them cues. What is your body? What is your head? What are the people that love you around you? What are they kind of saying? Are you stopping and listening? So I have a unique way of making clients make decisions for themselves. I've always found that if I say 5 times in the gym, 1,500 calories, eat fucking carbs, and do all that, for most part, most are okay with it, but you're always going to have that one that will fight it the entire way for whatever reason. Loads of shit that's gone on in the past, loads of mistakes I've made, work with different people, whatever. But I have a way of being able to so some point, oh, you know what? I'm going to try and get in the gym an extra day this week. Is that all right? Yeah, because they've made that decision. and it's more likely to happen because they made the decision to do it. I didn't tell them to do it. And I think, for most of us, we'd be better off just making, like you said, connecting with the right people, connecting with the right circle, expressing how you're feeling, whether that's to a good friend, whether that's to sometimes talking to somebody that doesn't know you, that isn't going to try and make you feel good. They're just going to shut up and they're just going to listen. They're not going to offer any advice. They're just going to let you speak, and not offer anything, not offer advice, and not, well, if I was you, I would do it this way. Because that phrase, if I was you, man, that should be banned.
Yeah.
Because you're not me. So shut up. So you know what I mean. Mate, I could talk about this shit all day. I think it's freaking awesome. I think it's super powerful, and I think it really. I think we were talking just before we started recording this about, with COVID and us both being business owners and both successful business owners, and then suddenly to just get this shit. It's just. I've always said to my wife, for the last 20 years, we've had a good. It's always been a good life, but we've had a really good 20 years. We've not really had to worry about money, and we can kind of go on a holiday, do the things we want to do. And I just before COVID even started, I used to say to her, you know what? If this all stopped tomorrow, I've had a great. I appreciate the years I've had. We both worked fucking hard for it, but I appreciate it. And then COVID came along, and people are all like, "Oh, we can't do this. Means I can't do that." And I'm like, "But you know what? Just stop for a second and just appreciate what you had previously. Because if this is the universe's way of saying you really weren't appreciating the shit you had, and the freedom you had, and the life you had, and how good you had it, I've had to do this for you to just ground you for 2 seconds, for you to actually appreciate." Rather than just constantly chasing and looking for the next thrill, the next whatever it is, we've all had to kind of go. And also the biggest one for me is the amount of people who've actually gone, "Oh, I really miss my family." Whereas before they'd be, "Oh, I can't come to that family meal because I've got to go here and I'm seeing that person, I'm chasing that." And now it's like, what's really important is really hitting home to people, I think. It's only my opinion.
Yeah. No, mate, I completely agree. And as humans, we don't like change. No, that part of us that hates change. I think that's the biggest thing. It's not that we can't go to work, can't see family, can't see the money. It's all part of it. But it's that such a big change in such a short amount of time. Combined with the fact that a lot of people were conditioned to believe that their circumstances dictate their feelings. Yes. And they are victims to circumstance. A lot of people are giving all their power out there. And while that might feel very real and be an experience for people, and I don't want to take that away from anybody that really feels that at the moment, again, ultimately, is that true? Or can you generate how you feel regardless of what's going on out there? Like my kids have got eight and a 5-year-old. That's the dad talking. I had to stop and think how fucking old they were then. I was like, right, 8 and 5. They wouldn't, well, they do know there's a virus going on and shit's changed or whatever it is, but their mood hasn't changed. You know what I mean? Because they don't put their mood and their feelings on external. Yeah, they get grouchy when they're hungry or tired or whatever. Isn't everybody, you know what I mean? But they're not going, "Oh, I can't feel happy now because I can't whatever, XYZ because of a virus." Like, no, I get to, mate, it's fascinating me. And we were at Morrison's the other day. Maggie wanted to buy something. She'd made some money selling something. So, right, I'm going to buy myself a gift bag. We did the self-checkout thing. And there was a guy had left 3p and the little change dish.
Yeah.
Dish, whatever. She found this 3p. Mate, you'd have thought I'd have bought her a pony for her birthday when she found this 3p in the thing. Mate, she's just like, look, some money in the thing. It's on video and I'll post it and whatever. We need to get that back. We get to go, right, regardless of what's going on out there, I can just generate that feeling. And again, I'm not bypassing the bad feelings or saying that you don't feel bad and it's not shit that you've lost job or money, because I know there's a lot of people struggling. I don't want to downplay that at all. I really don't. But take back your power. take back your power for you. You can generate a good feeling. You can put on some good music, do some exercise, connect with a friend on FaceTime or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know, there's ways to generate that good feeling, not relying on stuff out there. And I think that's the way back out of this.
Yeah.
Is the not waiting for the XYZ to change before you feel good. But you don't need an excuse for a reason.
I think there'll be a lot of good that'll come out of this.
Yeah.
You know, from like families reconnecting with each other and realizing what's important to themselves, what's important, you know, and also, you know, a lot of questions that you ask yourself and recognize that really maybe beforehand you really weren't happy about the job and you really weren't happy about that situation and you were just doing it because it paid for the car and a nice holiday. And now it really doesn't mean shit. So, you know, there'll be a lot of that. I think there's still darker times to come. I still truly believe that the unemployment rate is going to be far higher than the death rate in the next 2 years. And we can all be doom and gloom and go, oh, but you know what? I think sometimes there are massive opportunities in that. You know, you just got to believe in yourself and work with people and surround yourself with people who believe what you believe.
Yeah, that's big. Is don't be around. What do they say? Misery loves company.
Absolutely, man.
Get away from the drains of the world. Like even if they're your best friend or your family, if they're pulling you down and making you feel shit, get out of it. Get out of it.
I remember reading something about like EastEnders is the most watched soap opera, right, that people are into, right, and it's also the most fucking depressing. And there's something about that, again, like you said, misery loves company. There's something about like, you know, you've had a shit day. EastEnders, you know, it's conveniently on in the evening. So when you've had you go, well, could be worse. I could be.
Yeah.
You know, it's designed to make our lives feel a little bit better about ourselves. Not well, it's not. Well, at least I ain't having to go through that shit. Yeah. And it's like, and again, because I can't buy into a negative mindset. So the minute I start, so even though I might say things that could be described as being quite negative, I have to say it, and then I kind of go, okay, what are you actually feeling? What is this? What, you know, why are you doing this? And then I process it. So, and I think a massive thing about not surrounding yourself with people who bring you down. Yeah. I mean, I know you can kind of go, well, yeah, but they just keep me real. Are they keeping you real, or are they just holding you back? You know, I've always said, if my kids turn around and said, you know what, I'm going to build a massive ladder and I'm going to walk to the moon, I ain't going to be the fucker to tell them that's not possible. Mm-hmm. I'm like, well, if you can make that happen, if you can build that ladder and you can do the work and it gets you to the fucking moon, then awesome. But I'm never going to be the person that tells you that that's not possible, ever. Yeah,
it's the crabs in the bucket thing, isn't it?
Oh man, self-policing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, mate, I really appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy, and you got your business going on and stuff like that. But if people want to reach out to you or connect with you or add you as a friend, they can find you on Facebook as Matt Smith. Are you on Insta as well, mate? Instagram?
Yeah, Coach Matt Smith on Instagram. Website is coachmattsmith.com. Facebook is facebook.com/Matt Smith 2310. I think there's more than one Matt Smiths on Facebook. So yeah, you can find me, reach out, connect with me.
Absolutely. And I think if you're listening and Matt said something that resonates with you, because Matt has a completely different story to my story, and so it's why I wanted to get Matt in, because he's experienced it and lived it and still has moments but still finds a way through. So if anything Matt has said that you resonate with and you think, actually, you know what, I wouldn't mind a conversation with him, I know Matt's a very generous guy with his time. He's never going to, and he also isn't going to turn around and go, yeah, that'd be 30 quid, please.